Okay, here's another chess game I just recently played. This is a 3-minute game, so things are happening pretty fast. I don't spend a whole lot of time, thinking about the best move and stuff like that. I actually lose this game on time, but you know how that goes. When you lose a game on time, you think, hey, I really won that game. But when you win a game on time, you think, well, too bad for the other guy. He ran out of time. Anyway, it's I'm black here. Pawn to king 4, so this is a caro defense. It's pretty solid defense. This is kind of an unusual continuation to it, but it'll transpose in just a second here. All right, this is normal. And so now this is a normal setup. This is like a caro defense, maybe advanced variation. So it's a pretty solid defense. Get that bishop out. That's normal. Just developing pieces. That's pretty normal. I mean, white's got a pretty solid setup there. I don't know if that's a move I would have made, but it looks good. Well, the same thing here, just trying to get a good looking pawn wall going there. Pretty normal. I'm trying to, develop here. I kind of want to move my king's knight, but obviously I can't move it out to knight to bishop 3 because it'll be taken. I don't want to put it on the edge of the board because it's in an awkward spot. And I don't want to put it right in front of my king because it'll block in my bishop. So I move my bishop out of the way. And now maybe I can play knight to king 2. So I play this check. And white puts his bishop there. I make kind of a mistake here. I think what I should do is back this bishop up one spot and just play bishop to rook 4 because the queen would protect it. But I kind of don't see that at the moment, so I played this to protect my bishop. It seems a little early in the game to be moving pawns like that. I should have just backed my bishop up one spot, but nonetheless, that's not really too bad of a move, I guess. So white plays bishop to queen 3, kind of threatening my bishop, but it's protected. So I get this knight out, right? I'm trying to castle, so I got to get my knight moving. That's the whole reason I'm moving my dark squared bishop. And now that allows me to recapture the bishop with my knight and not mess up my pawn structure. And he plays pawn to c3 there. It's not too bad. I got to retreat my bishop. And white castles. And black castles. So I'm starting to get towards the middle of the game here. White bounces this knight out here, and it's making me nervous. I probably could have just left this move alone, and I'd have been all right. But I just get kind of worried, the knight's up there close to my king, and the white queen has a pathway right along there close to my king. And if you're not careful, you can get trapped in situations like that and get checkmated. Although, looking back on it now, I think I would have been okay. But so I didn't want to leave white with any possibilities, and I take that knight. And I'm also thinking it's going to be kind of hard for him to hang on to that pawn. Unfortunately, he does hang on to it later in the game. But so that's how we're looking now. White, I don't really mind this position too much. The white king is really kind of open. There's a lot of routes into the white king. My king looks pretty tucked away. But I'm not fully developed. I still got this queen's knight just sitting in the same spot that it started on, and I really don't have too many pieces out into the action here. So I developed that knight. I want to start getting him into the game. And I'm not real sure that's a good move by white, but it works, I guess. So now I'm trying to undermine the white center, right? I want to attack the center, and like I said, it's all about the center. So if I can start chopping away at white center, that would be good. And that's just kind of a side pawn, and it's hoping to swap places with this central pawn of white. He doesn't take it though. He continues with development, which is a pretty good idea. And I take his pawn, and that move surprised me. It's a pretty good move, I guess. He's getting his knight into the action over here. I really thought he would just retake my pawn, so I didn't see any immediate threat, so I took another pawn. And then he finally retakes, and this kind of weakens his pawn structure over here. So it's my move, and I'm trying to bounce this knight out to this outpost here on king 5. right here in the center. It'll get there in just a second. But I want to put this knight on this really beautiful white square here in the center. I'm not real sure why white did that. That kind of strengthens his position, but there may have been some better moves. Nonetheless, it wasn't a losing move or anything. So it's my move. I'm starting to try to get these pawns rolling. I want to get something going on this side of the board because the other side of the board looks pretty locked up. And I also have the thought of playing the sneaky queen to b6 move, and being able to move my knight for a discovered check. But I don't want to do that with this pawn hanging back here, so I want to get this pawn out of my way. So I move it forward. All right, it's white's turn. He's trying to bring his knight here closer to my king. That seems like a pretty good move, but I realize here that I can just take his knight with my knight. And in my mind, I was thinking that I didn't realize that his pawns would end up being connected when I got done. But once he takes it, his pawns are connected and kind of far up the board here. That's a pretty good setup for him. In my mind, I didn't quite see it that way. I don't know why. I thought his pawn would be all by itself. But still, things are looking pretty even. So now I got this queen in this sneaky spot, right? And I'm just dying to move my knight out of the way and have a discovered check on the king. It's not a checkmate or anything, but it's a pretty good move. White sees that coming, so he moves his king. And then I go ahead and bounce my knight onto that square that I was talking about, that outpost. That's the square I was wanting to have my knight on a couple moves ago here. When I played this move, this is the square I was planning on getting to, right there. So now that knight's on this outpost. It can't be kicked off that square. There's no pawns in front of it to drive it off the square. There's no other knights to take it. The only way white is ever going to get rid of that knight is to give up like a rook for it. So it's a really good square for that knight. I want to leave it right there. So it's white's turn, and white starts to try to push his pawns down the board, which is a pretty good idea, but I don't want to react to that because these pawn attacks are kind of slow, so I'm thinking I'm going to get my own game going here. I do, so I get this rook ready to bring into the game, and here comes white. He's still bringing his pawns at me, but I'm not going to capture anything. I'm going to, like I said, pawn attacks are kind of slow, so I'm just going to let the cookies fall where they may. And it's my turn. I'm going to play rook captures pawn because I'm trying to get more pieces closer to the white king. And, white captures that pawn. I don't really like it being that far down in my territory, but it isn't really hurting anything at the moment. And I'm going to move my rook out of the way, which is fine. I kind of wanted to do that anyway. Now it's white's turn, and now his pawns are getting closer. That's for sure. My turn, check. White moves away, and I play this little tactical move here. This is pretty nice. It checks the king, and I thought he would take my knight because otherwise he's going to lose his queen, but he actually moves his king and allows himself to lose his queen. Unfortunately, I'll lose mine in the near future here. So now, I'm definitely looking good here. Rook captures knight. I'm still looking good. The king, I have the king take one of these pawns because they're just getting too close. And now it's white's turn, and he takes another pawn. I'm trying to fight back here. I don't want to get too defensive. I want to keep attacking. Check. And I really got a pretty good position here. If I had more time to look at the board, I may have been able to find some winning moves, but I'm really starting to get low on time in the game. You can't see it, but I'm down around 10 seconds or something. So I don't have any options here. I realize right now that I'm going to lose my queen in a second, right? Because he's going to move this bishop right there. Now my queen's gone. So I have to lose my queen. But that's okay. He already lost his queen. I'm still winning in material. If you look at the bottom of the board, I still show a +4 here. I've really got a pretty good position. The only problem is I'm about out of time, and he has plenty of time. So check, that's a pretty good move. He gets himself out of the way. I take this pawn. This is just a beautiful position for black. He can't even move this bishop because it's a discovered check. I've got two connected central pawns, two connected flank pawns, and I'm just looking beautiful here, really. So now I'm going to try to get these pawns rolling. At the end of the game, I want to start getting some pawns down the end of the board. The queen. White's trying to get himself out of trouble. I'm just moving up the board at will. Here comes the rook, but I don't see any checkmating moves, so I think I'm okay. I'll block that rook. I'd really like to get these rooks off the board and just come into an endgame where I have more pawns. He doesn't take it, though. Oops, sorry, the cat knocked the fan over. All right, so again, I'm just trying to roll down the board. All I want to do is get a queen, but I don't have much time left to play with. What did I do there? I gave up a pawn there. Yeah, not too good, but still I'm looking good. Now I'm really, really close to getting the queen. He takes it. Still, I'm sitting pretty here. I check. I get out of check. I don't think White has any way to actually win the game, so I'm not too worried. Look at this. I mean, this is beautiful. I'm just getting ready to get a queen here. I should probably take my rook that's up here in front of my king. I should probably slide it back towards my king and play rook to f, whatever that is, rook to f7 check, and get his other rook off the board, and force that exchange. But I'm in a hurry, and I just want to get a queen. So I move up the board to protect that pawn, and he puts me in check here, and this is where I ran out of time. I'm out of time, so the game's over and I lose. But, really, I got a good position here. I mean, if we had more time, I don't see me getting checkmated. I see me winning this game. I'm actually up in material, and I'm getting ready to queen this pawn. So, nice little game there. Like I said, I lost on time. And, when you lose on time, you credit yourself with having a good position. And when the roles are reversed and the other guy loses on time, you say, well, too bad. Time's part of the game. So caro defense, advanced variation, you get that bishop out. Pretty solid setup here. Really don't like this move I make. I really should have backed this bishop up, but it's okay. No major blunders by either of us, I don't think. It's just a beautiful square for the knight. If I had more time, that would have been probably a game-winning move, winning the queen like that, and keeping my hands on my own queen. But when you get in time trouble, you tend to lose your own queen too. It's just a beautiful endgame for me. I mean, there's just no way White's winning this game. Again, I should have slid this rook down here and checked this king and forced the exchange of rooks. And there I'm out of time and I end up losing. So nothing fantastic, but nice little game there where I actually lost but had a good position.